All right, cool. What's good, everybody, and welcome back to another breakdown video. So in today's video, I'm gonna give you guys the breakdown of the trade that we took on Sunday that was called out as a sell limit. One active yesterday during the late Asian session, and we ended up closing out the position this morning. That played out very nice. It was a gold sell. We ended up closing out this position at 1,200 pips. So if we go here inside the Telegram, you guys can see that this trade here was called out yesterday or Sunday, like I was telling you guys. This was during the market open, but Sunday going into the Asian session overlapping to the London session, which was at 12:52 a.m., right? So this was the first setup, the first analysis that I did the entire day, right? And this is exactly what I found. So we end up calling a sell limit at the price at 45.90, 45.98. Stop loss placed at 46.30, and we had our take profit open, right? So we managed to enter the position at 45.88 due to the fact that price wicked us multiple times. So remember, our entry is, or our areas of interest was at 45.90, but you can see how price missed it not once but twice. So this is going based on the hourly time frame. You guys can see a lower time frame how price was attempting. This is exactly where buyers was getting exhausted from this entire push that we had yesterday as well. And my main areas of interest was focusing on the 45.90, right? And you can see how price missed this exact entry, not once but twice. You guys can see multiple times here. We missed it by 0.8 pips the first time, and then the second time we missed it by 0.4, right? So literally by this inch, and we end up missing out this position, right? Which was originally our entry at 45.90. So once I did see that price, gave us this multiple rejection, and then we finally had that strong push towards the upside. That's exactly what I told everyone. Hey, we're taking this trade now. We're taking this trade now. Make sure to enter this trade now at 45.88. And over the time, you guys can see that we entered this position at 803, right? I was waiting for price to actually give us a decent amount of pips in order for us to go to break even. I was not, anticipating to take 100 pips or 200 pips. I was looking for a bigger range pips. So in this case, if we give it 2 hours later, we end up running for 350 pips. And later on over the session, right, this is an hour later, we end up closing out 400 pips. Another hour later, we were currently running over 480 pips. So this was the profit that, I ended up making around that time, which was at 1,865. End up closing out the first, because the original lot size that I use, guys, is a 1.20. So we end up closing out this fully position, which, as you guys can see, at 1,200 pips, just like this. And I even told everyone yesterday, hey, I'm gonna continue holding. I was actually planning to close out the trade yesterday from right over here. So imagine if I actually end up closing out this trade right over here. Right at that point here, I was currently running over 1,800, I believe. Yeah. So I would have closed it now at 1,800 with 1,600 already secured. So almost like $3,000, $4,000 in profit. It was beautiful overall. But I had the TP open. I'm like, okay, you know what? I've already secured 1,600. On top of that, I closed out another $733. This is all closing by partials, right? And I end up moving my stop loss into profit. So if price action would have retraced and take me out of stop loss, right, I would have been closing out profit maybe, I believe it was like $800, like $900. So it would have been a great trade. But luckily, I moved my stops to break even, so I was free from that. Had the take profit open just to wake up, and we see that price has fully dropped 1,200 pips. That's where I told everyone, hey, close out the position now fully. So today marks one of my biggest days in a very long time. So today I end up closing out the trades, or in total with every single trade that we took. Plus this morning we'd end up taking some nice position. I'm also going to show you guys this, which is really cool. Something that we're going to be adding inside the VIP. But we end up closing out this trade, and then we end up taking some high risk buys today as well. We end up hitting take profit 3, which I end up closing out over $730 in profit as well, called out for free. So you guys are literally, if you guys are in the free channel, you guys are eating left and right. We called out banger trades yesterday. You guys saw the breakdown. Oops, shit. We called out banger trades yesterday. Again, like you guys saw the breakdown. We called the sell. You guys saw this right here. I'm going to give you guys the breakdown. And now we call buys. So like I was telling you guys, today profit, we end up closing now at $7,480. So this is exactly how I feel. Like the fork list right behind me. 7,400, and again, this is always going to be traded in a live account. So beautiful, beautiful day. I'm gonna give you guys the breakdown exactly how I actually found this setup. This is going based on Sunday. I'm very excited to show you guys because this is exactly how I trade. Now, one thing to let you guys know, right? This is trading, right? Trading, obviously, there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs, right? A lot of you guys have seen my downs. A lot of you guys have seen that, sometimes I do take some losses. There can be a week that I can probably take more losses than wins, or there's going to be a session that I take some losses, maybe 1 or 2 losses, right? But at the end of the day, this is trading. Trading is a game of probability. As you guys can see, if you guys are being patient and you guys, you're showing up every single day, you guys are going to get the results. And actually, last week, I ended up withdrawing one of very big profit as well, which was over $7,000 in profit. So all you guys got to do is just literally be patient and just trade your exact setup. Don't matter if you lose, right? At the end of the day, we're going to lose money, right? This is the whole point of this game. Last week, I ended up withdrawing one of my profits from last week trades, which was over $7,147. So you guys can see. This was on May 14 and we're May 19. So check this out. End up withdrawing over $7,000 in profit. So that is great. We made another $7,000 today. So I'm probably gonna be withdrawing very, very soon. I have already in my balance here, we started this account at 18,000. Right now we're sitting at 28,374. So maybe let's go a little bit up because I do have the account size that I started this entire week. This was May 18. Check this out. Boom. Account $20,000. Right now we're at $28,000. So I'm about to withdraw those profits as well so that we can start back at 20, right? So very, very nice. We're gonna do a quick breakdown. Let's do this from the top to the bottom. Look at this, literally from right there to here, guys. Like, how clean is that? So we're gonna start off exactly how did I do this? How did I find this setup? Very simple. So every single Sunday, right, I do my top-down analysis, which I start from a higher time frame to a lower time frame, and I just look for zones that price has rejected from the previous week, and how did the weekly candle close? What was the rejection from the highs? What was the rejection from the lows? And that's exactly how vision the market. I start noticing the pattern, like those 2 big gaps, which is the highs and the lows, and start noticing what is happening in the middle. And the middle is exactly what I'm trading. So going based on here on the weekly time frame, we can see here on the weekly we have this highs here, which was last week highs, right? But you guys can also see how the past 2 weeks, which is this one here and this one here, all right? We can see that we have rejected the same highs. Okay, you guys go into a daily time frame. We have to understand what exactly is price rejecting, because we have attempted to break above those highs 3 weeks in a row. Okay, so if you guys take a look here on the 4-hour time frame, on the 4-hour, we can see how the last high that price made was this one, right? And if you guys take a look here at the left side, you can see that price, okay, we have reacted from this entire daily bearish imbalance, right? You guys can literally see this from here. So this is exactly where price, we had a nice retracement back to the upside, and we had a reaction from this bearish imbalance. And not that we only had a reaction from that bearish imbalance, right? If you guys would have traded around this session here, we were also reacting from this other bearish imbalance, which price reacted twice. So let me make this a different color so you guys can kind of see it. We had a reaction from here, where price sold off, and we also had another reaction from here, where price sold off, right? You guys can see this on the 4-hour time frame, literally from this here all the way to here. So remember, the market moves in many ways, 3 ways. We have the downtrend, we also have an uptrend, and we also have an accumulation where price just ranges from highs to lows. Now, the imbalance is exactly what changed my entire perspective with trading. And the reason why I say that is because once you really understand the imbalance, right? An imbalance is exactly where a lot of volume are stepping into the market. And that's exactly where you want to trade. That's what really going to confirm that if the trend is valid or not valid, not based going on seeing all of this entire structure, right? This is part of it. But if you really want to deep dive into the market and really understand how to catch those limits the same way that I trade, you really need to understand imbalance. Imbalance are the areas where a lot of volume stepped in. So when there's a lot of volume stepped in, the market is going to have a huge push towards the upside or maybe a huge push towards the downside. And then the market starts slowly dying off. And then most of the time, these are the high probability zone that price is always going to retrace into, because this imbalance are basically used as magnets, right? And once they're used as magnets, think about it this way. We shoot up, we have a magnet zone here, price is going to come back and fill up the entire order that exact order, gave into the market. So the imbalance work exactly the same way. So the imbalance are, where volume stepped in, used it as magnet, and price is always going to have a reason to come back towards this level. So in this case here, we have noticed that on the daily time frame, we reacted from here, where price obviously had basically recovering this entire move. We had a bearish imbalance here where price sold off, and then price kept pushing higher, and we tapped into the other one, which is right over here. So, my bad. That was already good confirmation for me. And this was actually going based on the move that we had. When was this? I believe this was the beginning of April. Yeah, the beginning of April. Right, so we're just having a simple recovery from this one. Now, what happens next here on the daily time frame? The daily, we start noticing that price is, kind of having, exhaustion from this entire push. And if you guys take a look here on the left side, right, with this entire push here, we also had a bullish imbalance, which starts from this candle. Literally this blue candle right here. We're going to put this into gray. So it's very simple to understand. I'm not going to make it too difficult for you guys. But every single time frame, whenever there's a push down or push up, market is going to leave imbalance. And those are the zone where price is literally going to play ping pong. It bounces once, bounces twice, and bounces up twice until it fights which one is the strongest one. So in this case, we fought once here, we fought once here, we fought once here, we fought once here, and then price has continued pushing respecting the higher time frame one. So it's very simple. Now, here on the daily, once we respected that, if you guys kind of go into the 4-hour time frame, you can see how the entire structure shifted. All right, so let's kind of delete this. But the structure, we went from creating these highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and the structure just continued going bullish until buyers were exhausted. And then boom, we finally rejected the structure, and then price started shifting back to bearish. Boom, 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 all the way back down. Now, take a look here. Let's mark this level here. This exact broken structure. Or we can probably make it at 47.70. 47.70, if you guys take a look here on the 4-hour time frame, what did we build here? We had a bearish imbalance right over here. Perfect. You guys see that, right? From this exact candle right here. This was the bearish imbalance. Now, this bearish imbalance from here, if you guys take a look on the, oh my bad. If you guys take a look here on the left side, notice how we broke underneath structure. Yes, price reacted it once time here. We sold off. And then price came back down and we formed up an area support. Right? And if we build up an area support, if you guys take a look here on the daily, price just simply reacted from this bullish imbalance right over here. Just all this. So that's exactly where price obviously had a point to stop the market. So that could have been targets from sells back down over here. Right? Now, notice how when we started having the push back towards the upside, price once again, we came back towards the same exact zone. Right? We came back towards the same exact zone. And we rejected not once, but we rejected twice. We had a reaction from here. And we also had another reaction from here. So what happens after that? Boom. We have another break of structure underneath these lows. So take a look at this from higher time frame perspective now. Let's just delete all of this nonsense here. If we take a look here from the higher time frame perspective, you guys can literally see it that we're clearly on a daily or on a bearish market trend. Here on the daily. You see this now, right? So we have the last highs, we have a low, and boom, a lower high on the daily time frame. So that already pictured us the entire, that already kind of sold off the entire trend. There's no point for us to continue forcing buys here because we already kind of broke underneath the structure. So same thing on the weekly time frame. The weekly, that was that last weekly highs. Not once, but twice. You guys can literally see it from here to here. And then it just kept selling off until finally, last week candle, we actually closed it bearish. Because in here, we were bullish, but we closed underneath with the wick here, but never a bearish candle. So there was kind of more volume for bullish side here until we finally kept pushing higher, and then we rejected it from here, and price finally closed a bearish candle. And once we close a bearish candle, what I want you guys to notice now here is that we had a bearish weekly break of structure. We broke underneath this entire weekly support. Above these candles here, above all of this body, we finally broke underneath it. We gotta go here on the daily time frame. What was that on the past? Okay, in the past, you guys can see that it was simply an area of previous resistance where price has simply broke above or broke underneath. And when we broke underneath, what did we build here? Check this out. We built an exact bearish imbalance right over here. Now, this is a very aggressive bearish candle. Now, we're going to go into the 4-hour time frame. This is exactly how I mapped this out. I mapped this out just like this. Let's go here on the daily real quick. I believe it was right here. Perfect. So, remember, my stop loss from that exact trade, where we go, my exact stop loss was at 46.30, which was above these highs here. All of this entire daily highs. On the 4-hour, all I was looking for was for bearish's imbalance. So same candles like this one. Same candle as this one. So I'm looking for areas where price has, possibility to return into. So in this case here, if you guys kind of look at the left side, we had a bullish imbalance where price disrespected. And what I mean by disrespected is that usually whenever there's imbalance, price likes to have bounces from, as long as it respects. But in this case, from this entire bullish volume, we tapped into this bearish imbalance, price rejected it, respected it, continued pushing lower, and this over here was all disrespected. So this is no longer valid. This push towards the upside was just simply a retracement towards the exact zone. If price would have respected and kind of bounced from it and continued pushing higher, then obviously the sell would have been invalid. But we end up disrespecting it, which price obviously closed underneath. Okay, so now that we close underneath that exact bearish or bullish imbalance from the left side, which is basically an inverse fair value gap, price over here, we build up another one, right? And on top of that, we also have higher ones. If you guys kind of go into the hourly time frame, we have another higher one right over here. So this was my main concern one, my main areas of interest one, due to the fact that it inverse on the 4-hour, it inverse underneath this one. So this was like, okay, this is gonna be my first sell attempt that I'm gonna take. If this one fails, then I have the second one. So there's two that I mapped out. If the first one would have failed, then I have the second one, right? But I was very confident on this trade here. This is exactly the type of trades that I really like to take. So I mapped this out, and especially how, if you guys tend to look here in the hourly time frame, how, price reacted from here and kind of consolidate. But this was all Friday session, and then Sunday price comes back over here, rejected from here and consolidate. So all I was simply waiting for was for price to have a liquidity sweep above it, and that's exactly how the limit would have been active. So this is just like muscle memory. We're like basically a type of wizard, you guys can say. We know exactly where price is going to come into, just going based on this. If you guys really understand the sauce, then you guys really understand what we're talking about here. But it's something that it's so magic, like it's really magic it's like really magic and so cool to understand this skill set, because you know exactly where price is going to have reaction from. And I had a very, very high confidence that price was going to have a reaction from here, not by guessing, but simply by understanding this entire bearish, how imbalances work, and where exactly does market have higher probability of having a reaction from, right? So over here on the 4-hour, like I'm telling you guys, the reason why I really like this zone was simply because we inversed under here. We disrespected this bullish imbalance and we closed underneath, right? We also closed underneath. On the daily time frame, we also have this entire daily bearish imbalance here. So That was my zone. That's exactly how I marked it out. Now, unfortunately, we did not tap into 45.90. Again, if it was actually 45.90, we would have sniped that trade right there. It would have been sniped. But we were very, very close to that one. So again, like the way that I entered the market was simply because we noticed that price was having reaction from it. So we took the trade at right over here, which was at 44.88. Our stop loss was above 46.30, remember, which was a very wide stop loss because obviously we had another entry limit, but we enter at another zone. But the reason why I had my stop loss here was simply because it was above these highs. This high right over here. So if price would have, closed above here, then that trade would have been invalidated, showing us that, hey, buyers are now in the market because we broke above these highs. But that's exactly a safe zone for us to take to sell or to have our stop loss. Now, take profit. We had it open. We usually target for 1 to 3. We end up closing out this position right over here, which was at 1.2, 1 to 2.9 risk to reward, almost at a 1 to 3 risk to reward, but very, very close to it. Very, very nice trade. I was very proud of this setup here. I liked how everything played. I like how the way that I mapped out everything, understanding, the entire structure that happened from last week, which was simply here. All of this entire reaction is just simply going along with the trend. You see, bearish, we sold off, bearish, and then we continue doing the same zone. So very proud of this setup here. I love the profit that I made today. It's finally, seeing bigger profits into the market. Yeah, I have nothing else to say here. Hope you guys enjoyed this analysis and the breakdown. I love that I called it out completely for free. I saw that a lot of you guys were able to make money off this trade. Have some members there that made thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars. I'm very, very happy that I'm able to send you guys some free signals every single day and benefit with us. Over the past 3 days, over the past 2 days, right? Since yesterday, I've been sending you guys buy signals, sell signals, and we end up hitting every single take profit. So let me just do a quick review. This was a sell limit, and we're going to go based on yesterday. This is all the profits from yesterday. And these are members' profit. Look at this member here yesterday made over 273. So you see this. And I'm literally giving you guys the breakdown clearly, perfectly, so you guys can really understand it. So, before we even close it out, I want to show you guys something that we built here for the VIP, which is a complete software system that has an AI. And I actually put my entire analysis and my entire chart markup of the trade that I was going to take the sell off with, right? So take a look. Short sell. Original price entry was 45.98, but we had two, 45.90 and 98. Our stop loss, my bad guys. My stop loss was at 46.28. Target 4,500. So this is me telling them, hey, I'm looking for a sell limit 45.98, blah blah blah. We had after an aggressive displacement from 46.66 support. Market is now having a type of reaction from it. The AI grade this entire setup an A+, and it tells you guys what is good about the setup and what is bad about the setup. So here, this is a well structure. Pull back shorts into a clear resistance zone after a strong bearish displacement. You're patient to wait for retracement rather than chase the lows, and you show disciplined thinking, right? This is going based on how you program it, right? Because this is going to be all for the VIP. All you got to do is just simply plug in what is your confirmation, and then the AI will literally grade your setup if it confirms your entire confirmation. So let's say if you're looking for a sell and you're probably missing a liquidity sweep, or you're probably missing a break of structure, the AI is going to tell you guys, hey, you're missing this couple things, so don't take the trade. And then look, this is the only concern that the AI had for me. Hey, you're entering the market too early. It's an upper resistance, right? You're basically having the entry here. Price may spike through 46.20, 46.28 before seller commit. A limit at 45.90 where stops above 49.30, 46.30 will be safer. And that's exactly the limit that I called. So I listened to it. These are the concerns, the warning. You have a tight stop, blah, blah, blah. Entries at 46 aggressive, it's an upper boundary, and then there's no confirmation trigger specific, right? You have just a sell limit. But end up giving me the setup at an A+, and there you go. We end up hitting every single take profit. This setup here that we took this morning, it was a high risk trade. It gave us a B+ setup. And the reason why it gave us a B+ is because we were entering the market too early, with basically going against the sell-off from last night. But yeah, Beautiful trade, guys. Really, really loved it. If you guys have any questions, you guys can simply comment down below, or you guys can just, contact me in support, contact me on Instagram, wherever you guys want to contact me. Hope you guys enjoy. See you guys in the next one.